it was always going to be interesting to see how Michail Antonio responded to being the second choice striker. Let's be honest, he loved being the number one guy at West Ham. He absolutely bought into the project, didn't he? He wanted the shirt changed. He loved being the number 9. Whenever he was interviewed about it, he was proud. He spoke about him. Used to be a winger. Even joked. He said, "Not bad for a right back," didn't he? He loved it, but it obviously had to come a point where he wouldn't be the number one guy. He was still basically being shoehorned into a position that he hadn't played for most of his career. He was trying to learn to be a striker in his 30s. Scamacca came in for big money, and the moment you saw he had ability, or I guess I was going to say the moment you pay big money for a striker, you have to play him, but that wasn't the case at all. Let's be fair. Moyes came into the club, and even though he didn't buy Haller, we had Haller there, and he still would rather play Antonio. So it's not just about the money, but I think once you see that Scamacca has the ability, he is very much a number 9, then I guess Antonio has to either A, be relegated to the bench or put back into his wide position. So I'm always interested to see how Antonio was going to respond to this. Basically, could Antonio play second fiddle? Could he be reserve striker? And I think what's worrying me most is it's not his demeanour. If you look at when he was warming up against Bournemouth, there was actually quite a long period of time before he stood next to the fourth official at the board there and was waiting to be substituted on. It was quite a lot of time while he was there before he actually got onto the pitch. He was laughing and joking. He was laughing with Kevin Nolan. He was laughing and joking with the fourth official. So he looked relaxed. He didn't look tense. He's not somebody who looks like he's burdened with the weight of the world on his shoulders. What was more concerning to me was the way he played, because Antonio has built his reputation on the battle, on being attritional, on beast mode. Beast mode Antonio, basically, where he basically bullies a defender into submission. He uses pace, uses power, those athletic attributes. He wins the battle, he goes on and either sets up a goal, scores a goal, or just makes such a pain in the arse for himself that it creates space for other people. This is not what's happening with Antonio this season. And basically, Antonio is in full Emil Heskey mode, and or whatever, like Jack Grealish, but without the tricks, because he is now going into each game that I've noticed anyway, I'm falling over a lot. It's almost like he's trying to create the battle where sometimes no battle exists. He's looking for the foul, he's looking for the free kick. Now, I think you can do that, but I think it's very hard to do that as a substitute. And let me just explain what I mean. I think if what you've had is, let's say, 60 minutes of rough and tumble with a defender, you can turn around to the referee and say, "Come on, ref, he's been doing this all game," and there'll be a load of fouls that are accumulated. But I think you have to earn the right to do that, and I think you have to fight a battle. And I think what worries me about Antonio is now being substituted on, and immediately he's going down for all manner of reasons, and he's staying down, and it seems like his first instinct is to try and claim a free kick rather than actually go in and win the battle and actually use his attributes. I'm just worried that he's a little bit confused about what he's doing. Anyway, in today's video, you'll see a few snippets from myself and Geo, on which we did on about our Patreon player ratings. We got into the discussion about Antonio on that, so there's a little bit about that now. If you want to join us on Patreon, which is basically a whole additional Hammers Chat channel, then you please use the link below. It's patreon.com/Hammers Chat. All I would say is now is not the best time to join unless you're going to join for the year and you get a discount for doing so. Wait until the start of the month. But the great thing about Patreon is you can go back and watch all the previous videos retrospectively. Anyway, we've cut out a few snippets for you to enjoy now. But I did think he was a threat. I did think he was good, and he's infinitely better than Jack Grealish. Oh, sorry, Michail Antonio when he comes on. So I've got to say it. I've got to say it. That bit. So what's it called? You know, The Matrix, the film The Matrix. You know when Neo discovers that he's the one, all right, and Agent Smith and all the other Agent Smiths are coming for him, and he suddenly sees everything in green binary code. Neo has realised that he is the one and he's in the Matrix, and basically puts his hand up and he stops the bullets. But then there's that famous pose where he leans backwards and he does this and the bullets go flying over him, right? Antonio thinks he's the one, all right? And what happens is that move is, whoa, ref, he's pulling me back. So I'm now going to fall over. He did it yesterday and the guy didn't tug his shirt or anything. So he said, I'm going to back into him. I'm going to back into him. And what the guy did was he saw Antonio backing into him and the guy just stood to the side. He wasn't pulling his shirt. The guy stood to the side, the centre-back, and Antonio just literally fell over on his back and tried to claim whatever the bloody hell he was trying to claim. And the defender, what's that? There was no grapple. I'm going to make the most out of this grapple. I'm going to turn this grapple into a foul. The referee is going to notice it. There was no grapple. You just fell over your tit. Right?
Yeah, he was dreadful when he came on. He was absolutely dreadful. Now, while myself and Gonzo largely agreed on the performance of Michail Antonio against Bournemouth, or lack of performance from Antonio against Bournemouth, which coincided with their best spell of the game, and I guess ultimately that's the question. Was it a coincidence? Or was it instruction from the manager, hence why he made that substitution at that point? And I think there's an element of both in there. I think initially it was instruction from the manager, and that's why he made that sub. That we were going to start sitting a little bit deeper, we were going to protect our 1-0 lead, and we were going to ask the question of the Cherries, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to break us down tonight? How are you going to get that equaliser? Turned out the answer was nothing. There's nothing we can do. We're not going to manage it. So Moyes, you have to argue, you have to say, got the tactics right. It worked. And he obviously decided the best player to do that striker role was Michail Antonio. And an in-form Michail Antonio, I agree with David Moyes actually. If out the two strikers, one of them is going to have to be the isolated striker, if you like, at West Ham, that's going to have to make something out of nothing, that's going to have to try and win your free kicks on the halfway line, win your throw-ins. And in-form Antonio is probably the right player for that. From what I've seen from Scamacca so far, he needs players around him, and I think he gets a little bit frustrated, understandably so, gets frustrated when there's nobody to play off, when Jared Bowen's 20 yards away instead of 5 yards away. So I got the substitution, but his performance wasn't really great, was it? I mean, there was an argument that perhaps Antonio was possibly the better striker to start with against Liverpool at Anfield last week if we were going to play like that in the first half. Anyway, we agreed about Antonio against Bournemouth, largely ineffective and a little bit pathetic at times, throwing himself to the ground too easily and shouting at the referee, and it was all a little bit frustrating to watch. But we agreed on that. But one player we did not agree on. We're going to show you that clip in just a second. We disagreed about the performance of one player from the game against Bournemouth. However, after this clip, I will be back with an important message. So stick around and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Not quite as good as Kurt Zouma though, and definitely not as good as Aaron Cresswell. What are you giving him?
5.
What?
5. That's the worst I've ever seen Aaron Cresswell pass. Don't know the stats, don't know how to look at them. Be amazed if his passing is in excess of 85-80%. I'll be amazed if he is not right down there. I thought
right now.
I thought it was terrible. I thought he was terrible. That's his worst game of the season.
And do you want to know?
Yeah, please.
93%.
You're joking?
No.
Was it really? I thought he gave the ball away a lot. I thought his crosses lacked I just thought his crosses lacked accuracy. I thought his passes were. I thought he was poor. Really, really poor.
Oh, no, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was really, really good. Positioning, fantastic. The first half, the three players easily that were standout for me was Cresswell, Rice and Ben Rama. Just that left-hand side were brilliant. They had Bournemouth pegged back. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't handle them three. The only reason he's getting a 7 and not an 8 is because his crossing, I don't feel, was good enough. I think for someone of Cresswell's ability, I expect him to hit in. If he gets 5 crosses where he gets to roll it with the sole and cross it, I expect 2 of them to be on the money. And there was none of them really that made me think, oh, that was a good cross last night. 1 or 2 decent ones, but the people in the box weren't in the right areas or anything. It was fizzed in, nice curve and stuff. I don't think he took advantage of the space he was getting. But the partnership between him and Ben Rama I thought was really, really good last night. I was really pleased to see them, especially in the second half. There was just overlaps and underlaps going on, and they were linking up really, really well. Both of them were very unselfish, but also decisive. If one of them had an opportunity to cross it, they took it. There was no pandering on the ball between them or anything, but yet they were still trying to create a yard of space for each other. I honestly thought Aaron Cresswell was really, really good last night. A strong 7 for me. Defensively, I like Zouma, faultless, largely untested though, I have to say. I don't think Ryan Christie didn't really bother him, and then in the second half when Christie went off and I'm not even sure who was over there. Anthony went on the left, so Tavernier would have come over to the right-hand side then. But again, he was fine. But in possession, I thought he was really good. I thought he was really comfortable, Creswell. So
I just wonder if they're not including crosses and headers in that, because I mean there wasn't
a
like
header's not a pass.
Okay, but no, I'm not talking about a clearance header. There was twice when he was down the wing and he just had to nod it down, nod it straight to a Bournemouth player. What are you doing? And he seemed to give the ball away a lot. And it's not like anybody else was saying to me when I said that. Has he just given the ball away? And it's not like anyone said, "Oh no, you're wrong. He made that cross successfully." It's not like anyone's scared of me to say it. Do you know what I mean? So I thought his crossing was to such an extent. I'm sick of our crossing this season, actually. Not our crossing and our set plays, actually. The corners, I mean, really poor. Maybe they don't count either. But yeah, I wasn't impressed. Wasn't impressed with them at all. But you're right about that left hand side. It's almost the only way we attack. And I understand that can be disproved by the last goal. But I hate our right hand side. I really do. We have to attack down the left, and that's the only consistent area of pressure that we get.
Not a big disagreement, but a disagreement nonetheless. And I stand by what I said in that clip. I've seen the game back since, and I think Aaron Creswell had a solid game against Bournemouth. Another solid game. I think he's having a really good season. I think he's in a great patch of form as well. Is he the best player in the squad? No, but I think he's one of the most consistent. However, I do appreciate I probably am a little bit biased when it comes to Aaron Creswell. Not on purpose. I don't intend to be biased or anything like that. Everything you hear from me about him and Declan Rice, Jared Bowen, any other player in our squad, it's just my honest opinion. But I have to accept that when I read the comments on our videos, whether it be the previews, the reviews, anything else, Creswell's the one that people disagree with me the most. Whether it's my opinion on Creswell being included in the next game, his performance in the last game, his ability, his consistency, his form, he's the one player people disagree with me the most. So I am unintentionally biased when it comes to Aaron Creswell. But I stand by what I said. I think he had a really good game against Bournemouth. Now, everything that you've just seen in this video is a little sneak peek at our Patreon, and the intention is to try and get you to sign up. This is an advert. This series we do is an advert to try and get more people to join Patreon. However, this week, we don't want you to join Patreon. I'll tell you why. Because if you join right now, you'll get charged immediately. You get charged straight away, and the next time you get charged is the 1st of the month. So you'll get charged today, and then again on Tuesday. That's bad. We don't want you doing that. That is not good value. What we'd rather you do, and we hope you do, hopefully we persuaded some of you to do this, which is wait and then on Tuesday join up. You get charged on the 1st, and you won't get charged again until the 1st of December. So you get more month for your money. We've got loads of videos coming up in the next couple of weeks though. We've got Hammerlytics, which is with Jack, which is a data perspective, looking back at the games with less emotion than what you get from myself and Gonzo. You don't get them disagreements on that show. We've also got the Patreon podcast. We've got the breakfast shows ahead of the Silkeborg and Man United game. We've got the player ratings, of course, from Silkeborg and Man United. But the Man United player ratings goes up on Monday. So if you join up on Tuesday and the 1st, you can just watch your player ratings from the day before. It's still relevant. We've also got a mug of tea with myself and Gonzo coming up as well. But it's not just videos. You also get a few perks, entry into our giveaways. But coming up, it's Christmas, so it could be handy to join Patreon Tuesday onwards, because you get a discount at our online store, and there's loads of stuff on there. Whether it's for yourself, whether you're buying for another West Ham fan, or you want to join and give a discount code to your family member to buy you goodies for the big day, you can do that. It's up to you. You're the patron. It's your online discount. You can do that by going to patreon.com/HammersChat, but please wait until Tuesday to get a little bit more bang for your buck. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and Gonzo will catch up with you tomorrow.